everyone. So I'm going to show you how to make chocolate cupcakes in minutes. That's right, cooked in minutes. Okay, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer than 5 minutes because I'm going to be chatting it up, but this is supposed to make 12 cupcakes, and I know that it does. So you're going to take your kitchen shears, okay, and there's always the instructions on the back. So in a large bowl with 1 cup of unsweetened soy, nut milk, or any kind of milk. So people always ask, it's okay. I use lactose free. This is a great way of being able to make it and customize it to you. So any kind of milk, almond, it's just the moisture, okay? So I'm using my lactose free because I need to be lactose free. And then 1/3 cup of oil and 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar and the mix, okay? So I'm gonna just put the mix in right here, right now. Okay, so then that way I have my recipe because I know it's all gonna go in anyways. Then I'm gonna take my milk, and I know it said 1 cup. So this, if you fill it right to the top, it is 1 cup, that prep bowl, okay? So that's milk, that's it, okay? And don't forget, these are gluten-free. So then we're gonna do oil. And they said 1/3 cup. And you can choose any oil. You can use vegetable oil. I would highly suggest not using olive oil because it will give that olive taste. And so the great thing about these prep cups, I'm gonna move this out of the way, is that they actually have little increments on it. So I'm gonna go in between 1/2 and 1/4. And I'm using just vegetable oil. But yes, just some like light baking oil. So that's 1/3 cup. And then we've got 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, you can just use plain vinegar. Okay, this is to balance it out and put some acid with that milk. Okay, so we've got our 4-in-1. That's the 4, so that's tablespoon. The other part is teaspoon. That's 1/2 teaspoon, and half of that is 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm gonna take, it says 1 teaspoon. I'm just gonna pour right in there. There we go. And if you guys know me, you know that I don't like, oh, the cats are coming around. Who doesn't like it? Okay, so that's all it is. That's right, there is no egg in here. Can you believe this? Okay, so it's gluten-free. So I'm gonna show you a couple things about this. I'm just gonna get everything out of the way so that I know. I'm gonna just scrape that around, right? So we got this going on. You're probably like, Sandra, that's very liquidy. Super, super liquidy, okay? So the thing with gluten-free baking, these cats are going around my ankles. I'm like, yes, okay, attention. So I'm just gonna do it this way and move this out of the way. I'm just gonna put this here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let that stand, okay? So gluten-free products, we can't get that gluten that's gonna make that binding. So we're gonna absorb some of the rice flour and cornstarch and everything else that's in it that kind of makes that binding, right? And so while that's sitting there, you're just gonna take 1, 2, 3, put it in 3 of the 6 wells, okay? You just got your baking oil, okay? And then you're gonna take your basting brush, the silicone one. I like this because I'm gonna do it in one that has the oil, one that does not, okay? Then one that has the oil, and you're just gonna paint up. So go in one that has it and then transfer it to the next one, and that should be good enough. You do not need to use this, but what I have found is that when you go to bake these, guess what happens? You wanna have a taste of them as soon as they're done. So I like doing this because they'll pop out quicker and easier when they're still warm, or else you're gonna have to wait for them to cool. So this is another way of just making sure that they don't stick and that they're gonna pop out like, right, they're gonna go. Okay, so you're probably like, okay, Sandra, so has this sat enough? Probably it hasn't. I like letting it sit for at least 2-3 minutes, but as you can tell, it doesn't really take long. I'm gonna take our 3-in-1 spatula. So this is kind of really nice because I can get down to the bottom. And if you notice, now you can see that? You can see, I'm like, oh, look at that. It's really nice because it actually gets all the way to those corners and making sure none of the dry ingredients are still dry. So I'm gonna still stir it up, but scrape it around and scrape on the bottom. Like go to a little zigzag, scrape it on the bottom. And it's starting to thicken up. So you're gonna notice with gluten-free baking products, they will start thickening upon standing. That's what you want. You do not want to just bake them right away or just throw them right in the wells right away. So I'm gonna get to that bottom, make sure that all the dry stuff is not clumping on the bottom. And then we've got this really rich batter. So as that sits there a couple more seconds, I'm just gonna put things away. This is how quick it's gonna be. And then you're probably like, Sandra, you didn't turn the oven on. No, I did not. We are gonna microwave them. So this is what we're gonna do. And while we're doing this, it's getting thicker. I'm just like, This is how quick it is, no joke. Okay. So what we're gonna do, you can bake these by the way, but I'm gonna take that tablespoon, okay? And you're gonna do about 2, okay? 2 scoops into each well. That's all you're gonna do, 2 scoops into each well, okay? And we're gonna get this going. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna microwave it. I know, you're probably like, Sandra, you're crazy. I'm like, no, seriously, it works. And I'm gonna prove to you it works. So it's actually only gonna be, I believe it's 2.5 minutes. Okay, so it's 2.5 minutes in the microwave. And I'm gonna show you exactly how to time this perfectly. Okay, so we've got, you can put a tiny bit more in there. Okay, so what we're gonna do, watch this. I'm gonna do this. If you want, you can put this on a dinner plate. I don't really care, I've kind of mastered it. Like Sandra, but that's not only 6, because we're gonna do the other ones while those are in there. And so, as you can tell, I'm like, okay, here we go. So we're just gonna put these in. Well, that's really going in. So you're scooping, and that's it. And so you are gonna get this done in less than 5 minutes. So imagine, oh my goodness, you need a gluten-free cupcake, birthdays, celebrations, or just a decadent treat at the end of the night. You know what I'm talking about? When you're just like, I just feel like a little bit of chocolate or a little bit of just sweetness because your day kind of went sour. So you're probably like, Sandra, there's 2 left. That's right. I'm gonna take my 3-in-1 and I'm gonna actually get out all this batter. So you're probably like, oh, I would have left it. Do not leave it. It works really well. So I'm gonna actually just put that in there. I'm wearing a little bit from the outside. So I'm like, oh, thank the Lord I'm washable. And then I'm gonna take this here, put it in there. And that way I have every single last bit of goodness and a little bit on my shirt. So then that way you're not wasting anything, you're getting every single bit in, and away you go. This is gonna probably break everything today. So I actually like doing this and scooping it in, so you can actually, these are really nice and moldable, so they kind of bend. They've got that steel rod inside and they're heat safe. So if you do that on a pot, they're not gonna burn as well. So I'm gonna see actually if I can get this, there's just not as much. I think I kind of overzealously put a lot of extra. So I'm just gonna actually scrape that down and get as much goodness out of it as I can. If you go over it, that's okay. You just take the 3-in-1 and you scoop it back in. That's it. We should be almost ready to rock with that other. So we've got 16 seconds left, as you can tell. And then you're probably like, Sandra, what do we do next? I'm gonna show you in 10 seconds. So this is already going in the dishwasher. We're ready to go. And this is almost ready to go as well. Watch this. Oh, and there we go. We've got cupcakes all ready to go. We're gonna put those ones in for 2.5 minutes as well. But you know what? Don't touch. This is where, just like a steak, just like a turkey, when it starts resting, it's still cooking and the juices and everything. So don't touch. And so you're gonna not touch for 2.5 minutes. That's right, the exact same time that one's in there. Epicure was thinking, right? So we've got 2.5 minutes where these are gonna completely finish cooking because that silicone does absorb some of the heat. It's great. It's now actually still bringing that heat into the cupcakes and it's gonna cook them up really, really nice. So this is also probably where you're like, Sandra, they're flopping down. That's right, because this is about having a great decadent treat, but then it's also about portion control. It's not those Costco muffins. These are, you can have two, or you can have one, and that way it keeps you where you can just go have one, go sit down, and then decide and have that mindful eating portion of making sure that, hey, am I really hungry for another cupcake, or am I satisfied right now? So that's another way of being able to control how much you eat and what you eat. So that's just the way it is, as I got really chocolate on me as well. And that's it. That is literally all it is. If you want to actually go ahead and make frosting, we have the chocolate fudge that actually, if you make it ahead of time and you have a chocolate fudge, you can actually whip it up and use it as a frosting. Not only is it a fudge sauce, it's a frosting when you whip it up. So super, super awesome. You just kind of let that sit for that 2.5 minutes. We've still got 55 seconds left, and I have made chocolate cupcakes. Look, magic. No egg, and it's gluten-free, and they're finished cooking right here. And I'll be able to pop them out in about a minute or so, and ready to go. Scrumptious, scrumptious, and those ones will be done. So you're already snacking on these with your family or your friends, and then those ones will be sitting waiting for 2.5 minutes. So I'm sure you can't demolish these in 2.5 minutes. I mean, we could have a contest. See? That's how quick it is. I'm dead serious. So you're probably wondering, can I do these in the oven? Absolutely you can. You don't need the silicone if you don't have it, but you can actually just put these in the oven as well if you want to do it traditionally. The only difference is that you're not going to have that milled browning on top, that sugar caramelization that adds that little crust on top. That kind of keeps it fresh. Weirdly, the moisture stays in longer, so it'll keep those cupcakes fresh if you do in the oven, like for maybe 5, 6, 7 days. Here, this works about 3-4 days, even if you cover them up, because they don't have that crust on top that you get from the dry heat of the oven. So that's my other tip. As you can tell, here we go. We've got our other ones ready to go, and they're actually just sitting down. And then you're probably like, Sandra, but you said they were going to be ready. I'm like, I am. So what I do is I actually squeeze them out like this way. So don't forget, those are the ones that just came out. So I pull them apart this way, and I just kind of give it a little bit going like pulling the waistband. I do that. If you really want, you can actually get like a knife, but as you can see, popped right out. Super, super hot. Super warm still, but that's why I said it's better to just leave them inside. But as you can see, ready to go. And now I have a chocolatey treat for me. So as things are opening up, hope you guys invite me to your house or your consultant that you have and enjoy some tasty treats, because it only takes a couple minutes, even for chocolate cupcakes. Dead serious. Hope you guys had a good time watching how easy it is. And I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy my cupcake.